Consciousness, the final frontier. These are the voyages into the universe between your ears. Our mission, to explore collective wisdom, seek out amazing secrets, and spread the message of personal potential. All right, welcome everybody. This is Tim Starr. I am your Mindset Missionary. I am here with my co-host, Gabi Mushiev, and we are on the universe between your ears. We're joined today by a good brand new friend, not brand new, but new friend, Lisa Winston. Lisa, let me tell you a little about her. Her love of singing led her to a professional music career that spanned 40 years, has spanned. She's still involved, I believe. Yeah. She's a speaker, a teacher, best-selling co-author, artist, authenticity and confidence coach, and a mom. 5 years after a breast cancer diagnosis and losing her home to a wildfire, Lisa knew it was time to change the course of her life in order to pursue her soul path. Today, her commitment to teaching that yes equals success and igniting people's inner strength is transforming lives. Everyone is a diamond in the rough, being refined at the deepest level through life's challenges. Lisa, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Bringing your smiling face.
Yes.
We're going to have some fun today.
Yes. It's always juicy. That's like you said to you earlier. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna kind of the rough theme, at least, of this particular episode is the power of saying yes. And I mean, the show is really about anything that has to do with, trying the things that we do to make our lives better. And the title of the show is The Universe Between Your Ears, because it all takes place at some level in your head to start with, at least. So
thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for saying yes.
I'd love to talk with you.
Yeah.
And your my new buddy on the other screen.
Yeah. So this is going to be fun. Gabi, I don't know if you had a chance to put together some wild questions for Lisa or not, but
well, always. So first of all, I came across when I started getting familiarized with what you're doing, all those beautiful things that you got involved with, and the journey that led you to this. It's always fascinating to me. And when this kind of transformation happens, it's just most meaningful to me, because these people who went through, and I'm including myself as well in that bunch, and I think Tim too could also speak about this a lot. They are becoming most impactful.
Yes.
And yes equals success. What a great name you came up with. It immediately gives me this jolt of positivity. Absolutely love that name.
Thank you.
So you're coming from a long career of being a singer, right?
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say a long career of trauma drama, and I was going to say yes to that. That and the singing.
Many long careers all intertwined.
Yeah, the singing was the best part of it.
I always thought that the singers, anyone who could express themselves by singing, they must be just inherently the most happiest people to be there on the stage performing. I always envied you guys. Yeah, but I'm not that talented with that. But how good?
I think you should sing a song. Is that a big no? That's a no. Okay.
Let me get the mute button ready.
You're the one asking the questions. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, would you say that those years of singing were they your happiest? It doesn't look like they were giving you the satisfaction, right? That creativity that has to do with performing, with expressing yourself on stage.
That's a great question. I mean, It's a yes and a no.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I started singing when I was 18, and then I went on the road for many years. And then I, I was in several bands, had my own band in San Diego for 20 years, recorded and did jingles, all kinds of things. And did I love singing? Yes, until I became a band leader for 20 years, and I had to coordinate, MC, sing, schlep the gear, pay the guys, deal with the clients. And after a while, I really, probably after 10 or 15 years, I really got burnt out on it. You know, it wasn't fun. I didn't have fun just showing up with my mic stand, and singing anymore, because it was a job at that point. But yeah, I mean, even today, I'm actually bringing back, I just talked to, I don't know if you guys know the Koren, brothers Koren. They used to be kin. And they help people find their voice. And I gave it up, but I knew it was part of my being, my creativity. And so I'm actually going to be probably working with them this next year in finding my new voice, not the cover band voice, but yes, singing is in my DNA, and to give it all up is crazy because it's who I am. It's part of who I am.
Did you actually give it all up, or are you still?
Yeah. Well, when I lost my house in the wildfire in 2007, I lost everything. We had about 10 minutes to get out. So I lost all my, my charts and all my sequences and all my, just years and years of all of my stuff. And it was funny because before the fire, it was really interesting. I said I felt burnt out on my career. And then I got burnt out on my career. And then 2008 hit, the crash with the money and everything. And I stayed with it for a couple more years, but it really, the music industry really went south. So I just decided I didn't decide. There was something that happened. I got downloaded, and that's when I started moving into what I do now. So yeah, it's been a journey for sure.
Would you say it was like an overnight realization, or to switch, or you were like going back and forth and trying other things first?
Yeah, no, that's a great question too. I mean, for years I had studied Qigong. I got certified. I knew that there was something more within me, and I didn't know what it was. And I was miserable. I was in abusive relationships. I mean, just to let you guys know, it's like rape, molestation, 2 toxic marriages, divorces, illness, just you name it. I had it. Right. And so I was suffering. I was really suffering. So I was looking for a better way. And I started reading Eckhart Tolle's books and, just really diving into energy and whatever it was. Right. But I mean, really what happened was, I feel like the fire and the breast cancer, which happened 2 months after I lost my house, was like that big universal 2x4. And then I went back to a house that wasn't mine any longer. I mean, it's like I walked back in. I was in a bad 15-year relationship anyway when it happened. But when you walk back in a house that's rebuilt, it's like unfamiliar. You feel really strange because it's not your house. And then the reality of the relationship kicked in. And then I just really amped up my studies for probably another, 2-3 years, until I literally was just praying. I was on my knees. I'm like, I'm going to die if I stay here. I'll get worse than breast cancer if I stay here. I will die. And that's when I got downloaded with some information, those epiphany moments when and you finally make a decision instead of saying, I don't have the money and I don't know how it's going to happen. I literally just one day said, it came in and I was like, I know. I got up, I started packing boxes, told my daughter I was leaving, told my partner I was leaving, and that's what I did. So it came in pretty quick when it came. Yeah.
Interesting. And you mentioned Eckhart Tolle. That could have been a great companion for that, huh?
Well, check this out. Okay, remember I talked about being burnout? Tim's laughing. But I remember when I was reading, I can't remember which one it was, but
The Power of Now was his first.
Maybe The Power of Now, maybe. Yeah. I don't think it was New Earth, but it was about when he talks about dying to self. And so one of my biggest prayers was, Spirit, help me to die to self before I die. And then I lost my house and everything in the fire. So I thought that was really interesting also.
Wow.
Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. It's all good though, but it's interesting to look back. How we create.
All of these things are opportunities. We usually don't see them as opportunities in the moment.
Yeah.
But stuff happens to us, and it's a chance to learn something. Yeah, we may not pick it up for a while.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Tim. Though it was like one of my most present moments I've ever had, because when you don't have underwear, or toothbrush, or anything, like nothing, literally, and you have to rebuild your life on a day-to-day basis. It was actually one of the happiest years of my life, even with breast cancer, because every day was a new adventure. We were on the news, we had people, it was like this big show. It's like, well, why the heck not, right? Because we've lost everything. We might as well just go for it. But literally every day I had to like focus on what I was doing in that moment. I didn't know anything else. And so it really was truly one of the most present years of my life I've ever had. Then when I went back to the house, then it was heartache,
You said it. You were present, more present than ever, right? And
so it was a gift.
So I want to ask a question on that. Did you use that as, or how consistently did you come to something you have to decide on, and then consciously say, oh, no, I'm not going to do maybe what I would have done in the past. I'm going to go a different direction because this is really what I would rather do. This feels better to me. This makes me happy, versus obligation or something else.
You mean after I left? After
all of the crisis, and in that year of rebuilding. I'm
trying to think back. There's a lot of stuff I remember and a lot of stuff that I don't remember, because there was also a lot of trauma drama, a lot. And my daughter was going through some crazy things, and with my ex-husband, and just there was a lot of craziness going on. And so I think I was very not present a lot of times, because I was still in this relationship, and I'm like, yay, we're in a rental house with a pool, and everything's great, but it's like there's a point where reality hits. And I think I was always searching for that. And I think it was easier for me once I left that situation, and I moved into what I'm doing now, that I became more conscious and deliberately started making decisions from that space. I don't think I was quite there yet when I was in the moment.
Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a completely clean start at that time.
No. Yeah. Trying to deal with losing everything you had. And my daughter lost her house in the Cedar fires 4 years previous. So I had all the stuff she had lost, and then she lost the houses twice. And so there was just a lot of processing, one of my biggest life lessons is letting go, surrendering. And that was a big lesson for sure.
Yeah.
And here I am.
Yeah. Sometimes wondering, there are two ways, of learning all those lessons. One is through pain and suffering. Another one is proactively, by knowing, to be present in every moment, to make the decisions at each moment, to choose happiness, to choose positivity, right? And I was like, why are you not teaching kids at schools?
I know.
That would have been the best lesson, ever. I guess parents are responsible for this. But
that's true too.
As you're saying, maybe 60 or 70% of people are running unconscious. That's why the world is in the shape that it is. Eckhart Tolle said something amazing the other day. I keep listening to him.
He's amazing. Yeah.
He said the inner pollution in us created the outer pollution on this earth. I'm paraphrasing. He said it much more beautifully, more eloquently. But that's his, and I kind of started reflecting on this. We need to clean up, our psyche, our souls, and then we'll see the outside world, following suit, and we'll see much more beautiful paradise on earth is possible.
I agree.
That's the team, and we are kind of comrades, soulmates, if you can say, right? In that thinking,
I love that.
Yeah.
You guys are so great together. I love you.
When he starts including me, I start to get nervous. I don't know why. If I don't know what's coming.
Tim gets all quiet. Ooh, what's happening?
Yeah,
look at the time. I gotta go.
Yeah, Tim, then somebody will interview you, and then they'll say, "Yeah, this guy said that you were thinking that, and you didn't say no." So
that's awesome.
Exactly.
Love.
We do laugh when we get together.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So here comes a question. So now that you are here, you are delivered, if you could say that, right?
Something like that.
What do you most strive for in your life now that from this level, from this point of your consciousness, like, would it be accomplishment, security, love, power, excitement, knowledge, or something else, would you say? Or like, what is it that you strive for in your life?
Yeah.
If you could like narrow it down to one thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think, no, I know for sure. I know what it is. It is, I am an ambassador and an instrument of love on the planet. That's what I do. I love people. I hold space for love. That's where everything I do comes from. And so for me to get more aligned with my divine love, the divine love within me, because the more that I love myself, the more things come to me that are loving. And it's so true. I've seen it over the years because I practice it. And I mean, truly, it's not about the money. Money's energy. Money is love. Everything comes from love, really, truly. I know that sounds like goofy and Pollyanna-ish, but it's been my experience that, the more you align with that love, your life just shifts in major ways.
Yeah. To some people, it does still sound that way, but we are speaking the same language. And when you say that, it's like I'm having shivers, because the vibration. I'm totally.
I love it. Yeah. But that's what we are. We're energy transmitters. We do transmit it back and forth, and I want to be that. I want to bring people love, baby, all love.
Yeah, I was the receivers. Yep.
I love that.
Transmitters and the receivers.
Ooh. Love shivers. Tim, did you want to say?
I'm trying to remember. I just saw something where somebody was talking about, if you look at an atom and how much solid material there is in an atom, and it's 99.99999% empty.
Empty, right?
Nothing there, right? Yeah. And combine that with something that I saw on a Facebook feed a month or so ago, where they said that if you took all of the solid material from all of the human beings on the planet, it would, and compress it all together, it would be the size of a sugar cube. Yeah. Assuming I remember this correctly. If you process that, it's hard to argue that we're anything but energy. Yeah. Right. I don't really even believe that it would be a sugar. I don't think there's anything physical, truly. I mean, it's hard to bang your head against the wall and, you'll argue with that. But there's no way around it. Eventually, you have to just give over to that as a realization. Yeah. And I think then the idea that we have a little more control just based on what we think about, that becomes an easier thing for us to accept and buy into. And then once you do that, then it's easier then to say, all right, now I can do something with this. Yeah,
I love that, Tim, because I teach that all the time. I talk about, I think I saw where they said if your arm is moving like this and it's under a microscope, it's all air. It's like you said, 0.999. So, and for me, to wrap your head around that, really, is smoke coming out of your ears kind of stuff. Yeah. But for me, the really interesting thing has been the more that I align myself with my energy, with my love, with I have had experience. Like the other day I was doing a podcast with somebody else and literally there's a screen up.
We're jealous.
I'm sorry.
We're hurt.
I'm so sorry. No, I know. It's happening, Tim. I'm so sorry. Doesn't mean I don't love you.
Deal with it.
I love you, right? Deal with it. But I have to tell you guys, and Gab, you'll get this, because it's like I was sitting there and we're having this conversation, right? And all of a sudden this white thing kept flying through my screen. And it looked like a feather, but it was like flittering. And I said to her, the girl, interviewed me, and I'm like, do you see that? Like, is there dust? Like, what? And I'm looking around. She goes, yeah, it's huge. I don't know what it is, but it kept in the front and this way and then back. I'm like, what is that? And I realized my roommate came in later because she's intuitive, and she said, that's your spirit guide. So I literally have experiences because I've had these experiences my whole life. I have pictures of angel wings in pictures that are very clearly defined. Lots of experiences, crazy experiences I can't even explain to you. And the more that I align with that, the more that I get out of the belief that we're solid and everything is what it is, and the reality thing. It's like, no, we're not that. And if we believe that, we're that. But if we play in the field of possibility, and energy. Do you remember Lynn Grabhorn's book? What was the name of that? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. But anyway, Lynn Grabhorn had a book out. She's passed now. And it was all about energy. It was like, we're energy and we get to create whatever we want. And so when I started playing with that for the first time, worlds opened up, like weird things in my pictures and stuff. So, I mean, there's a world out there that we, you know, is a lot of people haven't tapped into yet. And it's
most people. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
By
so
far,
there's some great, amazing stuff going on out there. And I want to play in the playground of that, not the heavy reality of stuffy adult, you know, what is reality? I don't want to do that.
Well,
so what are you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to go off of that and just ask.
You're talking over each other. Stop. No.
I think you were going to ask what.
Can you tell this is not scripted? I just was going to say that, you know, how do you, because the thing that I'm really kind of focused on is transitions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, everything is in transition, whether we realize it or we don't, because nothing is solid. Everything is moving. And it's just a question of how much whether we can see it or not. But so how do you begin to teach these ideas with your clients or you know, in moving them in that direction? Or is the people you work with, are they kind of already down that path a little bit? Or
some are, some aren't.
Yeah.
Some are dabbling. Yeah, that's a juicy question. I love that. I show up as my authentic self, which is an intuitive, empathic, sensitive, creative being. You know what I mean? That's what I bring to the game. And if somebody doesn't resonate with that, then we're probably not going to make headway. Mm-hmm. So most of the people that are drawn to me are, you know, have some experience, whatever that is, because I teach a lot of, you know, I teach a lot of things like present moment awareness. I'm back to being in stillness because I was called back to it. You know, so busy doing. We're always doing in the masculine. Yeah. You know, and then we don't get answers. Well, you can't find answers, as they say, from the same place they're created, right? So stillness, present moment awareness, you know, being comfortable with discomfort. When you feel uncomfortable in a situation, instead of trying to resist it and push it away, you get to like sit with it and feel it and let it be okay. Like you don't have to do anything with it. So it's just really invaluable to learn how to manage your inner GPS, this beautiful thing that is your guide. You know, this is, you know, your body's talking to you all the time. You know, it really is. Your intuition's talking to you all the time. Do you hear it? I don't know. A lot of people don't. So it's really, that's the space I come from. Yeah, I can teach strategy. I can do a lot of different things, but the foundation for me is that.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that like from talking with people for a few minutes, you could already kind of tell what plane they're on?
Oh, yeah.
Immediately, right? What I'm trying, I find that, and I'm kind of like, I'm very conscious about not feeling of myself as being like above them or like superior or like, oh, you know, I got some realization that you haven't reached yet, because I know that, you know, that everybody's got their own path, and we need to be humble.
Yes.
And realizing that path, realizing this new for, I mean, it shouldn't be new. I mean, Buddha realized that, right? We had all these beings who were enlightened. And now if you have a little glimpse into this and have some understanding, I think I agree with you. This is now a responsibility. You are a channel. You're becoming a carrier of this important information. And for most importantly, to children.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking you're right. Many people who are unconscious, they may not wake up in this lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the children are the best hope.
Yes.
You know, I to what you just said, Gabi, about having the responsibility, I think if somebody gets to that point and they understand that they have this information, they have something that they can help people with, I don't think it's even something that you get to choose anymore. At some point, it's almost out of your hands. You have to share it somehow, in some way, you know. And that's part of what this show is for, is to help to get that information out there.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's hard though, because I think people, you know, I had a friend who, I don't know if she was using Stripe or some payment form, and she does really woo-woo stuff, you know, quote unquote. And they actually cut her off from the the platform, because they said, people who are doing energy work and all this stuff, well, we have backers that don't believe in that stuff. So we're up against the world, right? We're up against the world, which I think it's getting better. But a lot of it's kind of scary for people to come out and say, this is what I do and this is who I am. I mean, I'm not afraid of it, but it's happening, and it's uncomfortable sometimes. Mm-hmm. But you can't not do it if you're called to it. That's even more uncomfortable. Yeah.
And find your way where you are most powerful, where you have the most, like you. I really appreciate this when I find that people are really using their most important talents and strengths, that they discovered, if they're lucky, that they discovered, and then they apply those gifts towards this goal. Because I see many people who they understand this, but they're not good communicators of this information simply because that's not their talent, that's not their channel, right?
Yeah. Can I bring something that's coming forward to that?
Yeah.
If I'm talking too much, Tim, tell me.
That's what you're here for.
Looking at that Buddha, and I'm like loving it. I want that Buddha. It's like
I don't need you if he and I are going to talk.
3D Buddha. I'm like, oh my God, on the wall. I want him. But what I wanted to share with you guys was that, I first came into this realm as an authenticity coach because that was my journey. I didn't know who I was. I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. I was, I was a victim. I was weak. I was a people pleaser. I was all those yucky things that a lot of us are, right? Mm-hmm. And I recently trademarked extreme authenticity because I'm going to be making it in some programs and probably a book, because I started getting taken on a deeper journey. Like you have no idea how deeply authenticity affects us until you're taken, and challenged to do things that are really hard. So I think the big piece for people not stepping into their truth or who they are really is that fear of being judged, of people, saying things, saying you're a weirdo, you're a wacko. I mean, that people pleasing piece. And if you're not really centered and aligned in who you are, I took a leadership program here in San Diego last year, and it was a 4-month program. It was like boot camp. It was very experiential. It pushed me so far out of my comfort zone. I had to really confront the crap that I was living in, and I saw it clearly, and it grieved me. It really grieved me because that's how a lot of us are showing up, much smaller than we really are, and we don't even know we're doing it. Mm-hmm. So I had a massive shift after I did that, and I now staff the program from time to time because, and there are some programs like that are being started for teens, which is super important, Gabby. So I know you're going to love that. But if you don't know who you are, if you're not comfortable and solid in this, then it's going to be really super hard for you to show up authentically in your intuitive, energetic, creative self. So that's why that authenticity piece actually comes in. It's a really important aspect of it too.
Could you shed a little bit some light on how would you achieve extreme authenticity? How do you strive for being authentic? I mean, is that a meditation?
Hey, I was going to say, I'm going to make you sing. That'll be one way. Only kidding. No, it's interesting because that's a great question. It's really twofold for me. And that is, number one, we get to make sure that we're in our masculine, we all have masculine, feminine energies, and feminine energies coming in more this year, and we get to balance that out. We're not so much in the doing, but we're supposed to be in the being part of that, But what I love to do, and I love Facebook because it's a great platform, and not a whole lot of people respond really, but I do these challenges where I put mask on my face, I'm almost 59 years old. It's like I come and I'm like wrinkles and stuff, and what I do is I challenge people to stretch out of their comfort zones really far. Like even going someplace and buying flowers and just giving them out to people, or, going out in public and giving someone a hug. I guarantee you that is so scary to do that, to push yourself to do that. But in reality, who gives a crap what somebody thinks about you? If you're coming from a space of love and they don't want to receive, that's okay. Like they get to be them, you get to be you, right? But it's amazing how many people are starved for love and affection and attention and hugs. There are a lot of people, like when I go to the airport, like last time I was at the airport 5 a.m, right? Everybody's in their phone and their papers are looking down, like hundreds of people. And I go in the restaurant, and I'm like, hey, good morning. How you doing? I'm looking at people, and some people are like, hey, they haven't had their coffee yet. But it was so amazing because people, they literally they do this. They're like, what? Somebody's talking to me, and it's so cool. because you get to share love with people and make their day and let them know that they're seen, acknowledge them. They're not just some, person walking around on the planet. They matter. They matter.
Yeah, I would say trying not to get carried away wearing a mask of some kind or get into some kind of role playing that is expected of you. For me, my remedy or my weapon against this was, first of all, getting aware of this. So shining the light at this totally dissolves it, right? And then getting into being present again. You see, so no second guessing, not trying like an active listening. Right now, when you were talking, like Gabi 1.0, maybe 10 years ago, I was not such a good listener at all.
Ditto.
I attest that because I was thinking of my own agendas, and I was like, oh, maybe she'll say this, or maybe she'll say that. Like, oh, really? Like whatever. And like being present there, and I am like receiving you authentically this way, because I don't allow my mind come in and start hijacking this moment, right? So I'm with you here, and right now there's a connection over this meeting,
There is.
Yeah. And it's so easy to lose it though. So it's constant work though. It's like
it's a focus.
Well, there's it's interesting to me that because if you look at our parents' generations, they were much more closed off to all of this kind of stuff, right? And I don't know exactly where it would start, what age you would kind of sort of start the line from, but there's a group of people from baby boomers definitely are a piece of this, where we're sort of the intermediaries, bringing these new ideas, making it okay for these new ideas to come out. And then the people following us are really the ones benefiting big time from that new paradigm that's being created by the people now that are being willing to step out and make fools of themselves or whatever. Just being ready and willing to just say something that's a little controversial or a little different, And I would love to be around. Well, hell, I'm going to be around another 50 years. I'll see what happens, but it's going to be really, really interesting to see how much things change.
Yeah. I listened to Julian Assange's interview today, and the interviewer was asking him that we elected Trump. Isn't that a step back for us? And Julian Assange had a very interesting point. He said, right now, the presidential powers that were given to this office, the executive powers, right, are being kind of taken back. The big decisions like starting a war that could be done without the Congress.
Congress,
right? Yeah. Now you would think that like they're like blocking Trump from doing this or that scandal or whatever. But look what's happening. The powers that we were so concerned with are being taken back.
Yeah.
Right. And now the balance is being restored.
Yes.
Right.
Interesting.
And I looked at it for the first time, like, you know what? Truly, you could look at the world and either see negativity everywhere, or you could see there's a bigger picture that's happening. There's transformation that's happening. Trump is there for a reason.
Amen. I completely agree with you, because it's funny. I knew he was going to win. I knew it. Like I felt it. Like I was in with my Kundalini yoga. I can't even say. I was at a session with her, and when I was living up in LA, and she came out. She was so upset. Like, this is she's a master, and she's out there. Oh my God, I can't believe it. And I'm like, oh, that's really weird. You feel that way? Because like I feel so totally aligned. Like, I knew he was coming in because I felt that, the people wanted a change, and he was so.
Hi, this is Tim Starr. Thanks for joining me and Gabi on the universe between your ears. We really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us for a little while.
And we'd like to see you again. So be sure to subscribe wherever it is you're consuming the podcast from, whether it's YouTube or Stitcher or iTunes or whatever the hell else is out there. We want to see you again. We also want to hear from you. So let us know what you think of each episode. Let us know if you got an idea for a future episode that you think would be just killer. Absolutely, let us know. All right? Thanks again, and we will see you next time around. Bye-bye.